This is a sample of the information provided as part of the flexible training resources available through hasup.com. Our training courses are designed to provide training participants with an understanding of food safety and quality system elements and also offer user-friendly assessment activities and competency checklists to complete the training cycle. Chemical control. Key definitions for chemical control. Chemical. A chemical is a substance used for a specified task. Chemicals are commonly associated with food safety and quality system elements such as pest control, cleaning and sanitation and maintenance within food businesses. Safety Data Sheet or SDS. Safety data sheets are the internationally standardized way to document the hazardous properties of chemicals and other hazardous agents, including information on toxicity, first aid, personal protection controls, storage and handling precautions, spill and leak cleanup and disposal practices, transportation, physical data and reactivity data. Personal protective equipment or PPE, primary barrier of safety equipment that can consist of gloves, coats, gowns, shoe covers, boots, respirators, face shields, safety glasses, or goggles. PPE is used to shield or isolate individuals from the chemical, physical, and biological hazards they may encounter. Specification. A specification is an explicit set of requirements to be satisfied by a material, product, or service. Should a material, product, or service fail to meet one or more of the applicable specifications, it may be referred to as being out of specification. Titration. A process in which a carefully measured amount of a well-characterized chemical substance is added to a substance of unknown concentration until a complete reaction has occurred. Titration are used for chemical analyses to determine volumes of chemicals and other substances within a solution. Chemical control development. When considering the development, documentation and implementation of chemical control within food safety and quality management systems, the following information should be considered to ensure effective outcomes. About chemical control. Chemical usage requirements. Chemical dosing units. Chemical storage, segregation and security. Chemical handling and usage training. About chemical control. The use of chemicals within any food business must include elements which not only promote food safety, but which also promote the general safe use, handling and storage of all cleaning, sanitation, pest control, maintenance and other chemicals. This can generally be facilitated by ensuring documented procedures for chemical control are documented and available to everyone using chemicals. Chemical usage procedures may include familiarity with the type of chemical being used, including composition, strength, associated hazards. This information can generally be gathered from the SDS, labeling and manufacturer's instructions. Procedures may include appropriate specifications for use such as do not mix with other chemicals or do not add water. Labeling of decanted, diluted or prepared chemical mixtures to ensure they are not mistaken for other chemicals. Storing, handling and using chemicals away from foods, and in a way which prevents the contamination of foods. Defining the responsibility for chemical use. Training and competency verification procedures for team members required to handle or use chemicals. Chemical usage requirements. All pesticides, sanitizers, cleaners, polishes, lubricants and other toxic and non-toxic chemicals used in a food business must be necessary for the operation of the establishment. Unnecessary chemicals should not be found anywhere in the establishment. Used properly according to the manufacturer's label and SDS instructions. Properly labeled when chemicals are removed from the original container and put into a working container. Food containers should not be used as working containers for chemicals. Considerations must be given to the legal requirements for chemical handling and use. The use of some chemicals must only be conducted by specially licensed persons. Legal requirements also commonly include requirements for PPE to be worn. Chemical approvals. Food business chemicals must be approved for use in the food establishment. Some products, such as food-grade lubricants, may contain statements by the manufacturer as being approved for use within the food industry or a specific industry sector. Before use within a food business, a confirmation must be received that chemical products are approved for specific use and will not potentially contaminate foods. It is important to consider that chemicals such as restricted-use pesticides can only be used by a certified pest control operator. Regulatory approvals may also be required for the use of some chemicals within food businesses. Chemical storage, segregation and security. Chemicals used within food businesses must be properly stored and located with insecticides and rodenticides stored separately from cleaning compounds and other chemicals. All chemicals and pesticides must be stored separate from food contact surfaces and single-use and single-service articles. In this context, the term separate does not include storage of toxic chemicals above food contact surfaces, single-use and single-service articles. The storage of chemicals must also meet local regulatory and environmental protection requirements. Where necessary, adequate facilities for the storage and handling of food, ingredients and non-food chemicals including cleaning chemicals, pest control chemicals, lubricants and other maintenance chemicals must be provided. Where appropriate, food storage and handling facilities should be designed and constructed to permit adequate maintenance and cleaning. Avoid pest access and harborage. Enable food to be effectively protected from contamination during storage and handling. Where necessary, provide an environment that minimizes the deterioration of food through controls including temperature and humidity. The type of facilities required will depend on the nature of the food items being stored and handled by a food business. Where necessary, segregated and secure storage facilities should be provided for cleaning chemicals, pest control chemicals, lubricants and other maintenance chemicals. Storage facilities for ingredients, packaging and other materials should also be appropriately secured and adequately ventilated. Chemical dosing units. Chemical dosing units are commonly fitted to ensure the appropriate dilution of the chemicals with water and other liquids where required. Where chemical dosing units are fitted, it is important that they are regularly calibrated to ensure their accuracy. The calibration of chemical dosing units should be scheduled and documented, just as the calibration for items such as thermometers or scales. It is common for chemical suppliers to manage this function within food businesses, commonly through the use of titration methods to show that the outfeed from the dosing unit includes the chemical in the correct concentration. Outcomes of calibration activities should be recorded and reviewed on an ongoing basis to reconfirm the avoidance of product contamination. Chemical handling and usage training. Specific chemical training is a standard requirement for persons involved with the use of chemicals within food businesses. It is important that chemical training is tailored to the specific requirements of the chemicals being used, to ensure that foods do not become contaminated by such usage. It is important that the application of chemical handling and usage training is completed prior to persons being left unsupervised to use chemicals within a food business. Competency against chemical handling and usage training requirements should also be verified prior to unsupervised interactions. It is important to consider that specific chemical handling and usage training should be developed, scheduled, conducted and recorded to display compliance for functional chemicals used as food additives or processing aids. The use of such chemicals should be well controlled. It is common for chemicals such as nitrites and sulfites to be stored in secure areas, and only accessible to authorized persons to ensure any accidental or intentional misuse is unlikely to occur. Chemical inventory listings. It is common for food businesses to develop, document, implement and maintain chemical inventory listings to track the usage and location of chemicals within a food business. This activity not only provides evidence of appropriate chemical usage, but also assists in controlling the costs associated with purchasing chemicals for use. An added bonus is the ability to confirm chemicals received against the chemical inventory listing, to ensure the chemical has not changed from its original specification and active ingredients. Chemical inventory listings commonly include the following details: chemical supplier, chemical name, chemical unit size, date received, batch or lot number, active ingredients, Nominated dilution ratio. Intended dilution ratio. Currency of SDS. Date of started use. Date of finished use. There are many different types of cleaning and sanitation chemicals available for use within the food industry. Detergents. Detergents are used to remove dirt particles. They are not designed to kill microorganisms, although their pH levels can affect growth and status. Detergents are chemicals that usually have a surfactant quality, making removal of dirt from surfaces easier. The most appropriate time to clean surfaces with detergents in solution or as recommended is immediately after use, removing food particles before they become hardened and more difficult to remove, and facilitate microorganisms' growth. The strength of a detergent regarding its cleaning power is reflected in its alkalinity content. It is important to recognize that the use of hot water as a component of cleaning and sanitizing routines where appropriate can dramatically improve the capability of the system to control microorganisms. Sanitizers. Sanitizers are generally not good at removing dirt, but do kill microorganisms if used according to the conditions of use. The majority of food poisoning bacteria are killed if they are exposed to heat, chemical sanitizers, or a combination of both. Chlorine or bleach is one of the most commonly used chemical sanitizers used in food industries today. Commercial bleach contains around 10% chlorine, while the domestic variety is commonly around 4% chlorine. High-risk areas to be sanitized should use a solution at a concentration up to 100 parts per million of available chlorine. Other areas and applications may require a solution of around 50 parts per million. How do I choose a particular detergent or sanitizer? The factors that determine the performance of a particular detergent or sanitizer include the type of substance that is to be removed, as different types of detergents are more adept at removing specific substances. Fats, sugars and proteins are the three main types of substances that detergents are developed to remove. Dirt reduces a sanitizer's ability to kill microorganisms because the microorganisms are able to shelter in and beneath dirt where they are difficult to reach. Did you know that HACCP.com includes resources that allow you to create, manage and implement GFSI and HACCP-based food safety and quality programs? Improve your food safety and quality skills and knowledge? Train and develop your team to create better food safety and quality outcomes? Find suppliers and service providers to partner with your business. The information and training resources available through HACCP.com include a variety of formats, such as website content, MP4, MP4 and text, MP3, PDF and slideshow. Are you ready to take the next step in your food compliance journey? Visit HACCP.com today to create your profile and access the full versions of our food safety and quality information packages and much more.